And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 25 of Pixels, Sprites, and Nonsense. Today with me, as always, is Vash
Hey ho!
and Metzman.
Hello.
So it's an interesting week. There wasn't that much news, and most news that was actually there was revolving around Microsoft and the FTC. We have we have a verdict. And obviously, there's still some stuff in motion, but that's what we're going to get into this week.
Yep.
So, without further ado, let's just get things going. We're going to run the intro, and after that, we're going to talk about what we played and did last week, and then we're going to get into the meat of the episode. See you guys soon.
Hey.
Okay.
Oh, iets naar boven en bij mij in ieder geval. Ja, er zit een zwarte balkje.
Yeah, I might be able to fix that. Okay.
All right.
We're back, by the way. So
We're back.
Yeah.
we probably have
I
some
saw that.
Dutchies in there, but that's okay. Let's see what we got. Okay. So let's start with Metzman. What did you play last week? You're still on your holiday, if I'm correct.
I am still on my holiday. Next week is my last week, so I have one more full week of,
nice.
of chilling. Yes.
Oh, that actually makes it way worse.
The final week.
Oh, the final week is gonna go super fast because it speeds up right towards the end. So, okay, what have I been playing? Well, I have continued my Zelda Wind Waker stuff. I'm actually been like grinding the map exploration, like each little square of the map. You have to put some food in the water for the fish. Then he'll like draw you the map in. Basically, I've been doing that kind of off stream, just like a grind thing while I'm watching a stream or whatever. Yeah, I've been playing it. Still figuring things out. I didn't remember how kind of like you're not really held by your hand in this game. I know for someone like Benjiro who knows this game by heart, it's probably unbelievable. But it's been like really a discovery for me, trying to find where to go next and what to do. And there's some tricky stuff in there. Like, for example, there's these withered trees that are like sprinkled throughout the map. And what you have to do is you have to go to the big tree, the deku tree. You have to get water from that, and then that water has like it's like special water for 30 minutes. And within those 30 minutes, you have to find all the like withered trees on the map and pour it on it, right? So you have 30 minutes to do that. And I was like, okay, I know a few of them where they are, but I don't know all of them. So I basically cheated a little bit by having like a map on Google open on where they all are, because otherwise I would have had to go all over the map, find every single tree and write it down on a piece of paper where they are. And then, so I was like, I can do that myself, or I could just look it up, because I don't know, it felt a little bit like too much. So
Right.
So I did that. And for the rest, I've been like collecting the tools that you need, of course. So you got the heavy boots, which allows you to walk through the heavy wind stuff, and all that, collecting things. And then there's also this puzzle that I have not figured out yet.
We are not seeing it on screen, by the way. So
We are not.
on the stream.
But the cams are fixed, and now we
All
have
right, cool.
screen.
Okay, so this is one of you probably know what the solution to this puzzle is. I'm still trying to figure out what to do. Like and I don't want to know because I kind of want to figure it out. But it's either there has to be something that I have to place in the light beams on top, which wouldn't be that hard because I know how to get on top, or I have to like place all the movable blocks in the little square indication here. it's one of those two things. But yeah, I don't know. So this is one of those mysteries that I have to solve. It's like this little offbeat island in one of the corners. So yeah, that's one thing I'm still working on. And other than that, yeah, I've been just exploring the map. I've done all this stuff with the ice, where you have to shoot fire arrows at the base of the ice breath, so you can get on top of the island and not freeze to death. Yeah, it's been fun. It's a really good game. Still, it's really fun, and I like that the game it has this very childlike, cartoonish look, but it's actually kind of evolved. Like, you really have to figure out where to go and what to do. Even listening to the hints that you get, of course, from the boat, and the fish also give you hints on where to go and find special stuff. But yeah, it's still, and I like that it's still, it's not too handholdy. So yeah, it's a lot of exploration. So yeah, that's the Wind Waker. I'm still playing that. And other than that, I played a little bit of Fallout 4. I wanted to revisit that game.
Yeah, because we talked about it.
Because we talked about it. Yeah, so I created. Let's see. Let's go back a little. I didn't know what kind of character I wanted to create. And then I thought, you know what? I'm making Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, of course.
I'm making John Wick.
Yeah.
And then I also wanted to focus the character traits on him. So pistols.
Yeah.
That's kind of like to make him the John Wick of the wasteland stuff. So yeah, so I played a little bit of it. Of course, I also thought, I'm gonna do the building stuff, or at least the basic of the building stuff, all off stream, because that's not really fun to look at on stream. And yeah, I've been kind of like, I kind of like understand why the game didn't really gel with me back then, which is really interesting. Like, the game feels a little, it feels really like rough. Like, all the systems are really rough in this game,
right?
And building is part of, building, especially when you're building. It's just like the snaps, the way how things snap together doesn't always match up.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're finicking, constantly being like trying to figure out how you can make things work. And I got a little frustrated by that. So yeah, that I was kind of like, oh no, now I remember why I stopped playing this. Right. What I want to do maybe is just gonna like focus on the main story. Just skip all the stuff. Like I've set up I cleared up the second outpost location, but now I wanna get away from that. I wanna start playing the game. But other than that, also, I don't know, the fights don't seem very fun. I don't know what it is. So this game, it does a few things better than Fallout 3, like the environmental designs. It's a little bit more varied, right? In where you go, in the place and colors and stuff. But I don't know, it's really, I don't know, it's difficult to tell also which areas are dangerous for your character and which like you can go to directly. Like there's this area where you can go to for a mission pretty early, and that's like totally taken over by mutants with big guns and rocket launchers. And I'm this like level 3 guy with a pistol, and I was like, no, this is not working.
That's an instant death.
I eventually managed to kill them all from a distance, but it feels a little bit like you're never in control of your character in this kind of game, which is, it's sad. Like, I think Final Fantasy is a little bit more lenient. Like games like Final Fantasy, I mean, like it's you always like the game always like makes sure that where you're going and what you're doing is they display what is dangerous and not, and where you're under leveled and stuff like that. And in this game, you get so much freedom that you could be dead entering just a building, and just it feels a little bit like I don't know, a little bit uncontrolled. So
Would the game be better if they scaled the levels with the environment, that you could just go anywhere you want and levels didn't really matter?
I think I'm not sure if this game did that though, because I know the super mutants weren't unkillable though. Like they were still killable, but they were just like a lot. Like there wasn't like 2 mutants that guarded the place, and then the rest was pirates or scavengers or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like literally 8 of them or something.
Yeah.
So
The thing is that I know, I'm sorry to interrupt you there,
no, it's good.
is that yeah, they do scale,
Yeah.
but having a lot better gear also helps. That
Yeah.
helps a lot actually, because then scaling doesn't really matter anymore. But if you don't have sufficient gear, you are so dead, even though you're probably higher level for some areas. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's one of the issues that I ran into at certain points as well.
Yeah. So oh wait, you're still cheating on your audio falls.
Hmm?
No, your voice cut out again for me.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, but no, the last thing I said is that it scales, but also gear is very important.
Yeah, okay. So you did stop there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly. So what I did is I went back to the mutants with the power and the
Yeah.
BB gun, and that helped, right? That's the way you should do it, basically, if you're facing a situation like that. So in that way, it's like, okay, you have to kind of understand how to, approach that. I mean, the power armor is something you get very early on, of course. It's one of the first things you get, basically. But it needs a battery as well, which it kind of empties very fast, in at least in my experience. So, like in this section, I already lost the power, so I had to slowly walk towards this town. I think I could also fast travel, but yeah, you need those power cells to power it, of course. So that kind of like stops you from using it for those situations. But yeah, other than that, it does also have some upsides. I mean, I still like the atmosphere and stuff. Of course, I installed a few mods, just like better weather stuff, and just to make it a little bit more atmospheric.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not sure if I'm gonna play a lot more of it. I feel, yeah, I'm just gonna be waiting for Starfield to be the next step in Bethesda, especially in combat, right? That's the thing I'm looking forward to see that upgrade. Also because everything is real time, and I like VATS, but it's one of those things where I always run out of AP, and you're just staring at a guy in slow motion, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll have to get out of VATS, and then I'll just have to do it real time,
Yeah.
So it's a little bit clunky, a little bit like sometimes. And then I decided, you know what? There's a certain Bethesda game that I'm missing, that I've not played in a long time, since the Xbox 360 era. So I just randomly decided to start Oblivion. That's the next game I'm playing. I've been playing, and I just wanted to start it up and play a little bit. I first I installed 160 mods for it, but that's because there's you can install collections. So that's I just wanted quality of life stuff, where things are fixed, bugs are fixed, things look a little bit better. The faces don't look as crappy as they looked at launch, with the really weird bulbous faces. I don't know. And I thought what I tried to do for this playthrough is I tried to make myself look like the adoring fan. So I built this character. You can see I'm trying to build him here. And also I had a little avatar thingy, of course, of the adoring fan. And the race of the adoring fan is actually something that you cannot choose as a player. So I just chose the wood elf because I wanted to be in archer stealth mode, because I always liked that play style. And yeah, I started to play Oblivion. Of course, you start in the sewers, or in the dungeons, in the sewers and stuff, and then emerging at the end there. And meanwhile, you create your class. So I haven't played a lot, just been exploring a little bit, and I'm just I've just done my first mission objective.
Right.
And yeah, it's still, it's Oblivion. Like it took me, it has some nostalgia points,
Right.
especially when you hear that music and walking through those environments.
Aren't you afraid you're going to get fatigued by Bethesda games this close to Starfield?
No, I don't think so. I think you asked me this last time, by the way.
Yeah, I'm wondering if your opinion changed now that you added another one.
No. This is what I do a lot. I used to do it a lot more. Just jump back into all your games, just because I kind of miss those games, or I kind of want to see if the game is still fun, right? But yeah, I don't think I'll get fatigued, because I think Starfield, from what we've seen in the presentations, it looks like a totally different game.
Yeah.
In terms of UI, in terms of gameplay, in terms of inventory management, the entire universe idea that you're flying through space. We never had that, flying through space and exploring like a complete new environment in between planets. So I think it's going to be different enough. And I don't think I'll get, because, I switched from Fallout to Oblivion just because I wanted to. And even Oblivion is completely different from Fallout as an experience. I actually kind of like to play Oblivion more than Fallout 4. It kind of clicked with me more. I don't know why. It feels a little bit more. I don't know. The gameplay feels a little bit more tight. Of course, it doesn't have VATS, so it's all real time. And but I kind of like the gameplay style of Oblivion. It's I always struggled. I never understood RPGs when this came out. So I always thought that you gotta have heavy armor because it's better and it gives you more protection. But it's heavy armor. It's for specifically certain classes.
Yeah.
That stuff I learned later, like how RPGs work, right? Yeah. So now I'm wearing light armor because I'm like a nimble thief archer kind of character. So I can play this game a little bit more efficiently now, so many years later, which makes it a lot more fun as well.
Cool.
So that's about it. I don't know. In between, I've been playing the Q remaster puzzle thing, but yeah, that's about it.
It's such a weird game, Q. I love it.
I've been struggling with a few, but it has that this ultimate eureka feeling when things work out. So I've been enjoying that a lot. I just had the achievement for like 50 puzzles finished.
Nice.
And they're getting really tricky. But like there's so many. I'm still in the first category, and there's like, I don't know, like 16 categories of puzzles and things. So there's a lot to go through. So that's definitely gonna be my go-to in-between game when I'm just chilling out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of been it for me. So
cool, good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Vash. How has your week been?
My week's been heavy, therapy and stuff. So I'm not gonna talk about that. But not more than what I just said. But I have been playing some more of Outer Worlds. I am very far into the game. I am getting closer to the end, but I am actually playing I finished the first expansion, so which is pretty lengthy, I have to add. So you get an entirely new area, a new planet, and a new base that you can scour through, and it's a good story. I liked it a lot. And I'm currently busy with the second expansion, and after that I will probably finish this game, hopefully this weekend. But the second expansion is also a lot of fun because it's a murder mystery.
Okay.
So you have to do some research or investigating stuff, and yeah, it's fun. It's I like the story, the weird characters, just weird people. This entire game is just full of weird people, and the combat is great. It has a slow motion thingy. It's not really VATS, but it kind of does work like it, but also not, because there's every time you shoot, it moves it takes a bit away a bit of the timer. So it's sort of like VATS in that regard, but it's also better. It works a lot better for me in this game, and I've just been enjoying it. The DLC is really good.
I need to check
so
this
far.
one out.
Yeah.
I've been thinking
Yeah.
of getting Humble Bundle a little earlier so I can take it on holiday on the Steam Deck. Because apparently it works. So we checked that earlier today.
Yeah, and with the updates to the Spacer's Choice Edition, it works really well now. I saw today that my game has an average FPS of 90, and I did change it, by the way, to the with VSync on, because I don't have monitors that can go higher than 60 anyway, as Benjiro told me earlier today, and it works.
Just keep it at 60 and
really
keep
well.
it stable. If you can't see anything above that, then
yeah, and I could even up some graphics even more, and it still works really well. So I don't have any slowdown.
Good stuff.
So that's it's a fun game. I
Nicely
really
optimized.
Yeah, finally, because it took them a couple of months to optimize it.
So looking forward to checking that one out.
Yeah,
okay,
it's the only game I've really played this week. I did want to play some Ghost Trick, but my mind just was into mindless shooting this week. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess I'm gonna move on to myself.
Yeah, it's your turn indeed.
So
I was just about to say that.
I played a lot of Diablo 4. I'm not gonna talk more about Diablo 4 because there's not really something to talk about. It didn't have a crazy butcher moment like last week.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did do, and I have to blame Metz for this one, I bought Halo the Master Chief Collection. And well, you were disappointed with the trailer. I was like, okay. So confession time.
Right.
I never really played Halo. Never.
Oh, okay.
I played I think the Halo I played the most was Halo Infinite. And I did buy a few Halos in the past, but mostly what I did was multiplayer. I never played through the story, so I'm not really familiar with it. Obviously it was Steam sale last week, so I picked it up for $10. And I've been hearing good things about the Master Chief Collection. It was basically in shambles and a bit of a letdown for a long time. But they added more stuff over time. ODST is in there, Reach is in there.
Mm-hmm.
They added new modes, they added new multiplayer modes, and it's completely compatible with Steam Deck now, including the multiplayer stuff. And it really mostly runs on 60. Like it drops to the low 50s at certain intervals, but it's still manageable. It's fine.
On Steam Deck, yeah.
On Steam Deck, exactly. If I want to play it on my PC, I can obviously surpass that for sure. But for Steam Deck 60, which is absolutely fine. Anything above 60, the screen won't it won't work on the screen, and it will kill your battery. So 60 is fine.
Yeah,
but it works. I've been going through the first Halo for a bit. It's not holding your hand at all. Like these are levels, but if you're walking in the wrong direction, nothing will ever tell you. So you just walk around aimlessly until either dialogue pops up or enemies are in the vicinity. And you're okay. I kind of need to be in this direction, but I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. I'm probably gonna play all of them on Steam Deck. To have a fun mobile experience and finally, understand the story. And obviously I've seen some synopsis and I've played a few games here and there, not to completion, but at least certain parts. But just seeing more of it and actually playing it in order, it's going to be fun. So I started that as a little project that I will probably take with me on holiday in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Halo 2, they had a really good remaster. Like with the completely new cutscenes, but they're done by Blur. Yep. So really good.
Yeah, looking forward to experiencing it all. And the fun thing is I can experience it all for the first time, or at least most of it I can experience for the first time. So that's I think that's a
interesting take.
That's an interesting take. So you guys will be hearing more. I'm going through the original right now, and we'll see when into the others. So the other game I decided to play, and so I've been gaming on handhelds most of the time. Like I've played Diablo on PC and I do play some games on PlayStation, but I'm going on holiday, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to take along. So I decided to install Sonic Mania as well. I didn't have the Encore DLC. I did have the base game, so I picked that up. It was literally like $2. And I'm playing through that. I had the kids literally glued to my Steam Deck when I started playing that game. They were enjoying it nearly as much as I was. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through that. I finished it once, but that was like when the game initially released. After that, they did a plus version, so they upgraded it, and then they did the Encore DLC. So I'm gonna be experiencing some new stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, just playing a fun Sonic game. It's probably one of the best.
Yeah, nice.
And then I wanted to play another game which released this week, but I didn't have the chance to actually play it.
Same. I installed it today.
Yeah, me too. I actually already had it installed on the Xbox, but the kids were downstairs and it's PG-16, so I can't. I just can't.
No, I know.
And I installed it to my PC, and it was done like 15 minutes prior to the start of the podcast, so didn't get the chance to check it out. Yeah. But I will be checking it out next week, and that's Exoprimal.
Yeah. We should try this one together, because
if I have time, man, that's not a problem.
Yeah. Let me know when you have time, because I have time. So
sure, but I kind of also want to finish my Diablo story. I just finished Act 2. I just need to do Act 3, and then I'm moving on to the final.
So many good games.
Take your time. I am here. Yeah. You know that.
But this is like a live service game, so we have plenty of time to check this out. It's going to have some crossover stuff with Street Fighter. They already announced that prior to the game coming out. But well, I'm going to check this out. And when I do, when you have time, when I have time, I'll definitely.
When you have time,
when I have time, I'll let you know. And then we can check this out together.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate how they tease. Like Dino Crisis with this, with her, this character. It's such a like they have to be working on Dino Crisis in the background.
They probably are.
Yeah. Like it's such. I heard a lot of mixed things about this game. Like some people really like it. Some people are like on it, and there's also some people are like, nope, this game's not for me.
It's a very Japanese game.
Yeah, it's like a little bit EDF-ish.
Yeah,
but it's also PvP and stuff, so it's a very, very, very interesting mix.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna check it out, and if we hate it, we didn't spend any additional money on it. It's on Game Pass, so you can pick it up there, and you can just try it. Yeah. And to be honest, Capcom has been making a lot of great games lately, so I'm just willing to give them the benefit on the doubt on this one. Just at least give it a try.
Yeah, it looks like a silly but good time, maybe.
Yeah, so just a lot of action, mindless action. Gotta love that.
So we're gonna check this one out. Unfortunately, didn't have time to check it out prior to the podcast, but I just want to give it an honorable mention because I did want to look forward to playing it. Just didn't find the time. Okay, so that's it for
what we played.
For what we played our previous week. Now we're gonna move on to the main topic, and the main topic this week
I was about to say something. Might as well go first with one of the news items from last week that we missed. I really want to talk about this because the YouTube channel NoClip added some stuff, and they have a new. They announced that they got a lot of videos and promos that were lost for a long time. And Fandom, the owners of GameSpot, wanted to throw it out, and they managed to secure all that. So it's a lot of content of old videos that were never really uploaded in high res or never uploaded at all. And all of that can now be found on the NoClip Game History Archive YouTube channel. And there's some good stuff in there. Yeah. So things on old VHS tapes or Betamax tapes, because I know when with Gamersland I went to the E3 and they gave us a Betamax tape because that's what they gave to a lot of companies at the time, even back in 2009. So a lot of stuff wasn't uploaded, and
Yeah.
they are uploading a lot of that now, and they're actually asking for help from people that are experienced with this. They are cleaning a lot of stuff up. First looks at several games.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And all they converted it to the best possible quality. So for example, the first ever look at Uncharted, it is at 4K resolution, or at least the video is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the source resolution is, but
1080p
they're just
probably.
yeah, exactly. So, but they're uploading at higher resolution, of course, because then you get better compression. But yeah, it's great. There's some really big treasures in there, and the guy behind that, what's his name again? He's been teasing a lot of things coming.
Yeah.
One of the Konami presentations that was never saved anywhere. And he says it's full of cringe moments and jokes that don't land, stuff. So expect more.
It's the infamous one.
No, it's not the 2010 one. I think it's 2009 or something.
Oh, that is the infamous one. That 2009 one is the infamous one.
No, I don't think so.
Danny O'Dwyer, by the way. Is
Danny O'Dwyer is the owner of NoClip. Yes, he used to work at IGN, and then he wanted to do his own thing, so he started NoClip.
But no, I don't think it was the infamous one. It was another one. It was an earlier one. That he said it's not available anywhere. So that because the other ones, you could find it on YouTube. The infamous one.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff coming, and they literally have boxes full of this stuff. So we can expect a lot of things that you can only find in 240p now, for example. We'll probably get some really good stuff, and it's good memory nostalgia food. With some great lost in time stuff. So
it's really a very important part of gaming history.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
Sorry,
that's
for
okay.
interjecting.
I agree with this shout out. I'm going to add to that shout out though. So this is obviously archiving footage. But the Video Game History Association in America, run by Casey Lewis, and they had a report come out this week, and that report showed. I'm not sure if you read about it.
I did. I shared it with you guys.
Less than 90% of all video games are still legally available. Less than 90%.
Yeah.
Which is obviously terrible. So they're
bad.
They're pushing right now for the ability to start a digital library where all these old games are available, the way books are, the way old movies are, that you can still get to them without a publisher actually holding them hostage or just putting them in a vault in an archive that they can never be used. So Gerard the Completionist, Gerard the Completionist actually did a video on this, and he interviewed them. So it's not one of his standard "I complete a video game" video, but it's about game preservation. So check that out. Check out the actual costs, and let's see if we can get some of these old games back. We know that Metz is crazy about the old games, and most of them you can play. Obviously, we have a GOG. We do have some stuff still available.
Yeah,
but just
there's companies like Night Dive Studio who always try to get the rights to certain old titles. Like they've been doing a great job remastering or even remaking old games. So even like obscure titles or more obscure titles like Shadow Man and stuff. That's always a really good way to pervert.
And I agree with you, but there was one quote that stood out to me. A remaster or a port, and even a remake, is always derivative work of the actual game.
Yeah,
very
so
good point.
That resonated with me. So that actually, if you do a remake, include the original. Include
100%.
the original game. Because the original game, it's gonna run slightly different. It's gonna have it's gonna have different bugs. It's just gonna hit slightly different.
Yeah,
and it's always derivative work. So even
true.
everything Night Dive does, how great it is, it's still derivative of the actual content. The
So
Doom
the original
60
should also be available.
Yeah, the Doom 64 that they released is not. It's technically not the same game as the Doom 64 we had back on our old consoles.
True.
So yeah, it would be cool if we could actually play these originals in one way.
Yeah, they did. Night Dive did do that with the Quake remaster, where you can basically choose the old
which version you want to play.
Yeah, which version you want to play, even the DOS version, basically.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be slightly different because you're going to run it emulated. It's not going to run on the original hardware.
True.
It's always going to be slightly different. But it would be nice if we could get those original games. Bringing me to the next set, and unless you guys want to add something, because I have a beautiful segue lined up to this.
Okay, no, don't go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Let's talk about the Carbon engine.
Yeah. I knew it.
There we go.
I was waiting for that one. I didn't want to say anything because I saw that coming. The Carbon engine.
Take it away.
Yeah, so it's a wrapper basically. It's an emulator that wraps around an older game, and it's being used by limited run games to bring back a lot of most of the old games they get a license for.
Yeah,
cool.
I think Tomba is one of the games that was announced this week. Will use that Carbon engine.
True.
And some other games that they announced during this week's,
which is
Clockwork,
which is a big Famicom game.
Super Famicom, and I think Super Famicom, like never released in
it's
in
a
the
Super
West.
Famicom game. Yeah, but it was never released in the West, and they're actually going to localize it. They're going to bring it over.
Exactly, because what we did get was Clock Tower for the PlayStation, which was a 3D game.
Yeah.
So, but the first one was never available here, and it's a classic. Without that game, we probably wouldn't have Resident Evil. So,
Clock Tower, yeah.
It was one of the first true survival horror games in that regard. And so, I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah. They're also bringing the Jurassic Park collection along for the ride. So, unfortunately, it's not the Genesis games, it's not the Mega Drive games, which, in my opinion, were the best. Jurassic Park games, especially from that era, but it will be the NES games, it will be the Super Nintendo games. That will be part of that collection. So really cool to get our hands on that. They're using the Carbon engine, which basically it's the lead developer for that is MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer. He's a YouTuber, usually talks about either console security or he talks about emulation as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's the lead developer for Limited Run for the actual Carbon engine. They just added support for PlayStation games last year. Before that, they only did Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. So they added
Tomba now.
Yeah, so they added a few extra cores to their version, and the Carbon engine is basically just an emulator that uses licensed games. So they try to go for 100% emulation and near to the actual experience, and then they're going to add stuff like they're going to add additional trailers or artwork or line. If you remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collection, they also added a lot of artwork or variants, like the region variants and stuff like that. That's basically what Limited Run is going to do with these games. So we're going to get artwork, we're going to get a music player in there.
Behind the scenes stuff.
We were not supposed to know that, but unfortunately MVG kind of leaked that. He wasn't supposed to do that, but he did. But they're going to add like a music player and stuff like that. So it's basically going to be compilations and a love letter to the actual game.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that is also a big part of game preservation.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I do kind of want to mention something else, because what we're also seeing is cloud gaming is of course huge. Huge. It's getting bigger. And one of the things is Ant Station.
Ant Station.
Okay.
I think I mispronounced it.
No, just inform me.
Yeah, but hang on. Was it Ant Station? They're from the UK, and they've been doing retro gaming on cloud for a while now.
Okay.
And so that's old Taito games and a lot of other stuff. About 1,200 games currently, and they're adding new ones each week. But it's available as a beta on PC. It's already available on Android. But it's also coming to Xbox. It's the first third-party cloud system, or first third-party cloud service on a platform on the Xbox itself. So Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, of course.
Okay.
So that's really cool. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So
another thing that came back to Xbox is emulations. You can get emulators again on the Xbox consoles. They removed it a little while ago because of a Nintendo cease and desist, but they're back. So apparently,
how is that possible then?
Well, I'm not sure if Dolphin is back, but I do know that the other emulators are.
Well, Dolphin is probably not back because it was also removed from Steam. So
yeah, but you can still get it from the actual website. So
I mean, but they don't want it on Steam.
I'm not. Yeah, they didn't want it on Steam for now because of a Wii part that was actually
and Stream. Sorry, it was and Stream Retro Gaming Cloud Service.
Okay.
Yeah. And Stream, like as in games for ants.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's also pretty cheap because it's it includes 1,400 classic games, and it's coming this month already, 21st of July, on the Microsoft Store, and you can get access for a year for like $30, 30 euros, or 80 euros for a lifetime access. So if you're very much into retro gaming, that is. So it has games like Full Throttle, Monkey Island, what else? Dizzy's Adventure, Samurai Showdown, Art of Fighting, the original Mortal Kombat.
There's actually
a lot of games
right now premiering a video about it, showing off different games. I saw Spy Hunter, which is one of my favorite games from the Commodore 64. So
nice,
cool stuff.
Yeah. So I saw that today. I was like, "Hey, that's interesting."
If you're into arcade and stream.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So there's a massive push for retro gaming stuff, like the Evercade, and very interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, that news thing handheld that you showed us this week. I'm lukewarm on that one.
Right. No, I get that.
The reason I know it's fun that it can do that kind of stuff, but I have an analog pocket, and I think that's like the Ferrari when it comes to these type of handhelds. So showing me a $70 one just doesn't get me excited.
No, I get that. I get that. But it's interesting for people that can't get an analog pocket because it's only $60, $70.
Yeah,
and there's two versions with games pre-installed. Because Capcom doesn't want to have separate cartridges with their games on it, so you need to install it either on the Evercade XP or on such a handheld device. So unfortunately that's one of the issues with that kind of gaming, because then you might need two different handhelds for the games that Taito and Capcom don't want on cartridges. So that's kind of sucky, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
But that was it from my side on that front. So I just kind of excited about all this.
Is there more news before we get into the main topic?
Nope. That was it.
That was about it, I think.
Okay. Yep. Then let's move on to the main topic. Who wants to do the word?
I could.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Vash.
Yeah. Well, I admit I have been keeping abreast of the entire situation. So I'm just excited about it somehow. Maybe not in a good way.
Explain. Why are you excited about the FTC stuff?
Not excited, but it's finally over, because after a year and a half, we finally have confirmation that Microsoft is basically going to close this weekend, either this weekend or on Monday, the deal with Activision.
Yeah.
So after a lot of back and forth, a lot of issues with the FTC, the CMA, um, they got the green light from the FTC, from the judge in the FTC case, basically. FTC didn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it would hurt consumers. They have been focused on what it would do to Sony, but Sony's a Japanese company.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have anything to do with the U.S. market. Well, it does have things to do with the U.S. market, but it's not a U.S. company.
No.
So it doesn't have the protections that other U.S. companies have. What I do have to say is that the head of the FTC now has 4 losses when it comes to company mergers.
Wow.
So yeah, there's definitely going to be some stuff going on. There's already been political questions about the handling of these things. So yeah, that is unfortunate for that person, but they need to do their job better in that case. So we'll see what happens. But the judge has said that you can't get this preliminary injunction. There's no reason not to. And they filed something today stating that the judge didn't do her job well.
Okay.
But that was rejected.
Yeah.
So they went for an appeal for the Ninth Circuit Court.
Yeah.
But that will most likely be rejected as well. And it's going to take a couple of days, unless there's an emergency meeting, which might happen today, though. So we'll see. Today is Friday, the 14th of July, for the record. So it might have been shut down by the time this comes on online, and Microsoft, it's gonna close the deal.
Yeah.
There's talks about Activision being removed from the stock market, from Nasdaq this weekend, on Monday, at the latest. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, I mean, I don't see any, like, I don't think the appeals and everything is going to work anyway. Like this seems to be a shut deal right now. So yeah. So we can expect to see a different future for Microsoft now. Yeah. Which of course brings us to everybody's now interested in. Oh wait, what else can they bring back? What does Microsoft have in their hands right now?
Yeah.
And what's the future like? I've seen some different perspectives on this whole thing. Like there's a lot of people that think that this is not great, not a good idea. This monopoly kind of thing. Right?
Yeah, consolidation is never good.
No. So, but we'll have to see what Microsoft does, right, with it. Like, I'm just hoping that we're going to get more games and existing franchises on more platforms. If they can just uphold their deals and not do something that's like that work against player choice. Of course, their Call of Duty is still going to be multi-platform. For at least another 10 years, if I'm correct.
And they're going to be pretty hands-off when it comes to Activision-Blizzard.
Yeah.
The same way they are with Bethesda.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
I mean, whether that's good or bad, I don't know. I'm still in doubt about that.
Yeah.
But sorry. Go ahead, Metz.
Oh no. Well, I mean, personally, I'm kind of excited for the possible franchises making a return.
Right.
Especially when I see titles like Blur pop up in the list. I'm like, oh, wait, they can bring that back if like. There are all these dormant franchises that can like rise again.
Yeah.
And that's what like excites me. Of course, that's going to take years for these games if they even choose those specific franchises to rebuild.
Yeah, but even just thinking of the possibilities, and that's what I was thinking for the main topic for today is just spinning. What could they do?
Yeah.
What would a Blur look like if they gave Blur to Turn 10? The guys that actually made Forza Horizon.
Mhm.
How would that look?
Yeah.
How would that be? That they can pair these IPs to different studios they have, and some of them might give a really interesting spin on a dormant franchise.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd love to see a modern Blur. They can like extend what they had. They can add more, more power-ups. Make it, they can like do all sorts of things with this stuff. We don't have a lot of these types of fundraisers anymore,
Nope.
right?
Not a lot.
So games like this are very welcome, in my honest opinion, because as much as racing is fun, I'm not the Forza type. I'm not the Gran Turismo type. I like these games. I like Burnout. I like party racers. So
Hot Wheels.
Hot
Wheels
stuff like
Unleashed
that.
is a good game. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good game.
And of course we had the Sonic racing game as well.
Yeah.
But I like Blur a lot. I play that a lot. I'm still a happy owner of the 360 version.
Yeah.
And there's even like a way to still play the PC version as well. So it's you can still play it and find it, but it's not on any stores anymore, I think.
Nope.
So
because licensing, of course.
Yeah, because of the licensing, and that might now change. So we might even get a port remaster.
That'd be great. If it's finally available on Steam, I would get it instantly.
Yeah. And that also means there's more stuff like that. There's more franchises that could bring back different genres. When I look through that list, like for example, what did I have? I had a listing here.
Yep. I'm looking at it right now.
So one thing that a very old title that is from the 90s is Interstate 76, for example, which is in this. And it was an age where we had like a lot of combat racing games. So it's not a car game, but it's a little different. Interstate 76 was kind of like a free roam car combat game where it's cars with guns on them, like Twisted Metal, basically. Only this game was more like a free roam GTA kind of thing, with like a very simplistic art style, set in the 70s.
Polygons,
It had just this fun. It's one of those games that one of those game types that we don't have a lot of. Just the same with the Blur types of games.
Yeah.
With Twisted Metal on the horizon, the series, and probably maybe a new game. I mean, maybe if they want.
The first thing is, Twisted Metal 1 and 2 are going to be added to PlayStation Plus next week.
Okay.
So those, if you have PlayStation Premium, you can play them next week. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
But these kind of games, I would love to see more of these. Like vehicle combat games are really fun. And I know that New Blood is working on a car combat game, but they haven't shown anything. So they've been doing a lot of cool stuff. They're also working on a like Fallout 2 type game, which is really cool. Yeah. So they're trying to bring that back, but with this acquisition, we can have like if they decided to bring back Interstate.
Okay.
Then that would be cool. I would love to see like a Mad Max stylish car combat game that focuses more on the car combat instead of like the hand-to-hand combat stuff. And options for multiplayer, of course.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of with cars and customization and they could make that work. That would be really cool.
We do have a game called what was it? There is a car combat game, and there's even a Warhammer version being made right now.
We played that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is I think there is a market for that, especially a single player interstate, new single player interstate, especially with the style it had.
Yeah.
It worked really well with the 70s and
It had this great like 70s TV show, like was it Miami Vice style, but in the desert, or
more Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, more that.
Starsky and Hutch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see stuff like that. Another great one that we don't see a lot of is, for example, the Tenchu series, which might be a little bit more difficult to bring back since it was developed by From Software, and there was another studio involved as well in the first game, I think. But we do get a lot of samurai games now, but like a very stealth-focused game, like a Splinter Cell ninja game, basically. That's still something that we don't have a lot of. Jumping from rooftop to rooftop in the night and trying to find your best moves and plan it out, and maybe even a little bit of what do you call it? Like environmental interactivity to distract guards, all that stuff, that cool sneaky stuff. I mean, that you can do.
Yeah, you could basically make a new Tenchu using what Hitman does right now.
Yeah, for example. Yeah, like a big open world, or at least like
very large open levels.
Yeah, with a lot of options, many different ways to play it.
Yeah.
These are all possible things. Especially Tenchu is. It's a cool franchise, and we get a lot of samurai games and like ninja games, but we don't get a lot of stealth stuff. So and I know that's being a ninja is like a little archetype thing, of course, but we don't see a lot of that. Like we have Ninja Gaiden and stuff, but we don't have the sneaky stuff. So that would be great. And of course, another thing that Phil itself teased is being franchises back like Hexen.
Yep.
And of course, I immediately think of, hey, they have Bethesda, they have id Software and Machine Games sort of under their wing. It would be really cool to see something like this come back, a fantasy shooter that's like more action-based. So think Doom Eternal, but with a fantasy theme. Instead of like having an Elder Scrolls type game, with multiple classes. It was fun there was I think 4 classes in the original game,
it's been a while.
Yeah, but they could even just hand this over to Night Dive Studios.
Yeah.
If they wanted to,
Or
they could just
Raven.
license it out.
Yeah. It's
Or Raven Studios, because they also will acquire Raven, of course.
Yeah.
Who made the original? So.
I always thought the original was always interesting because it was a little bit difficult to navigate the game, especially like the opening sections were a little bit confusing in where to go next and what to do. You had to find really, really hidden switches and stuff. And then it like turns into this multi-level open world kind of design, where you go from area to area, and like one area could affect the other. So I've kind of replayed the game a while back, and it's really interesting to go through the game again. And I got stuck a few times. So because it's not like Doom. The game is
not linear.
No, it's not completely linear. The first part is, but after that it kind of opens up in all these areas you have to travel to, almost like Dark Souls if I think about it, where you can go to different areas and do things there, and it will affect like other things. So it's very interesting. So they can do a lot of cool stuff with that, I guess.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it is a good game. So
it's of course it's the Zoomer generation won't really know about this stuff. So even when a game like this will like the title will appear, you'll hear a few shouts in the crowd, but I think it's some of these franchises are so old that reviving them is I mean, we can still do it. I mean, look at Doom. Doom had a great revival, so they can do it with this stuff too. I know.
I don't know. Yeah. The Doom had more popularity than these games.
True. That is true. That I mean, this is of course also an area where a lot of these games came out. And
The Doom
Yeah.
was the definitive shareware game. Like everybody
True.
had
Yeah.
that
Everybody played
shareware
that.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, this is a Doom clone.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a good Doom clone though, because there have been very bad Doom clones in that time as well. But this was definitely one of the better games.
And technically, this is also a sequel to Heretic, which is way
was the
more
first
like Doom.
Heretic,
Which was
right?
like way more like a
Heretic, yeah.
Heretic, sorry.
Yeah.
Which was a real Doom clone, which had like the same kind of design.
Yeah.
But with like this is
bigger.
Yeah, this game was called Beyond Heretic as well as subtitle. And of course, they wanted to do a lot more with it. They wanted to stretch the possibilities of these kind of games.
Yeah.
Which they did with the multi-world stuff. So.
And we saw the same with games like Strife. And I think not Power Slave. No. I don't think it was Power Slave. But I do remember Strife, which had more story with characters that you can talk to.
Yeah.
That was also very interesting. But Hexen, I remember this one very much. I didn't play it a lot because I wasn't very good at it.
Yeah.
But it was it was enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, I always love the atmosphere in this game. There's this face come through this like portal and talks to you with a very heavy voice and like be prepared to die, mortal. You know that's kind of stuff.
Right.
Which was very spooky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked the exploration in this game when I replayed it a while back.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a Doom clone, except for the combat, which is it gets a little bit zany. Like you, especially when you this class, I think, is where you're just shooting a lot with your first weapon, the first like few hours. So it doesn't have that flow of combat like Doom had, where you get like weapons pretty fast. But yeah, so you have to collect like different types of magic to use different types of weapon and stuff. So
right.
But yeah, so that's Hexen. Of course, we know Phil teased that, so that might already be in development. For all we know, that might be one of those first big Activision projects that we'll see.
We'll probably see it in the next showcase.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, I've been yawning the entire day, dude. So don't worry about that.
So what kind of games do you guys see in the list that excite you? That you think, oh damn, I would be really excited to see that come back.
Well, can I go first, or do you
take
want
it
to go
away.
first?
Take it away, Vash.
One of the games that I have a lot of memories of that I really enjoyed was a slower paced game. It was a 2D. Well, it had 2D platforming, but you just walk around with a shotgun. It's called Blackthorn.
Oh, Blackthorn, yeah.
And I love. Yeah, I already added the video.
Oh yeah, I did it. Okay, good.
Yeah, just now because oh man, I loved what I loved from Blackthorn is that you could hug the wall, and then you could avoid damage from the creatures that enslaved you and your people. And it was so much fun and challenging. I would love to see a new version of that one. I want it to be a smaller game, like something like Pentiment, in that sort of style. I think I don't need this to be a big blockbuster AAA game. So they have quite a lot of games quite a lot of games. I know this is a Blizzard game. And Blizzard is mostly Diablo and Warcraft and probably StarCraft, because I read today that StarCraft 3 might already be in development.
Yeah.
According to Jess Corden from Insider Gaming. So we'll see. But they also have a lot of point-and-click adventures in their ABK has a lot of point-and-click adventures in their portfolio, like Quest for Glory, Police Quest. I'm not sure if they still own. Yeah, they still own King's Quest. There has been King's Quest, but
Gabriel Knight as well.
Yeah. Those are still owned by them. But they did license out those games in some cases. So at least I know from Gabriel Knight we got a newer version of the original game, and I know from King's Quest we got a brand new title in that series.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. But yeah, Blackthorn is one that I would love to see a new studio take on, and that slower paced, more tactical gameplay.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Flashback and Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
In times, only you have a gun this time.
Yeah, it's in the same style. Yeah.
Yeah, shotgun. Yeah.
So that was their attempt at making such a game. So that was, and I really liked it. And of course, when I mentioned Blizzard, I also loved Rock and Roll Racing. But I can go on about that for hours. But it's just I want a new Rock and Roll Racing with the same isometric view. So yeah.
I just added that one, and you just blatantly stole it.
I didn't even see you add that one. I'm sorry. Go ahead, talk about it, because I didn't want to talk about that.
You can talk about it now.
No, go, do ahead, go. We're on the same level.
So a new Rock and Roll Racing would be amazing. It's another Blizzard game. It's an isometric racing game that you can upgrade your upgrade your weapons. You can upgrade your cars along the way. You earn money. You can buy new stuff, and you just race across the galaxy. And you do this to glorious. Obviously, I'm gonna mute the video because monetization issues, and we might.
I mean, it's still meaty, but
Yeah, but it's basically the 70s and 80s rock music. So it's fantastic. Born to Be Wild, Olaf's in there. There's a lot of good songs in there. And it's just a blast. I never owned the game, but I think I rented it. I think this is one of the games that I rented the most.
I
kept
do own it
renting
right now,
over and over.
Yeah.
Another fun racing game, by the way.
Yeah, it's another fun racing game. It's very micro machines, but it has guns.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
really enjoyed that.
I remember actually there was a company that tried to remake this game under a different name.
Yeah.
Because I remember Total Biscuit had a WTF video on it. But it was so close to this game that I think they actually got sued for it. I'm not sure if it's still on Steam, but I don't remember the title. But it is definitely a 1-to-1 almost remake of this game with higher detail assets. Of course, trying to get some of the fans back into that. So, but yeah,
we're bringing this game back in, and nowadays it would be obviously it would be on cloud, and you could play basically anywhere. You can get it on Steam for like $15, and it would have online multiplayer. It would be a blast. It would just be so fun.
Okay, so the game was Motor Rock.
Yes,
and that one was banned. Yeah.
Right.
So that's basically the same.
Yeah, it was very close to the to this game.
Yeah. So it was just like if you had this company that copied Ridiculous Fishing from
I saw that.
guys. It was basically that. Yeah. So they were shut down and banned. Yeah.
So with this acquisition, they also get Toys for Bob. Toys for Bob did the Skyliner games, and eventually they moved on to other stuff, including the remake or the remasters of the Insane Trilogy for Crash, and they did the remasters for Spyro. They also did Crash 4. So they are very good at creating colorful, fun platformers, although...
For all ages.
Well, I'm not agreeing on the all ages part, specifically when it comes to Crash, because Crash is difficult as heck. It's just not fun for kids.
No,
I'm okay at platformers, and I'm struggling with Crash.
You're not literally struggling. I know a lot of people who are fans
as well. It's a difficult game. But they have the capabilities to do something like that. If you give somebody like Toys for Bob Banjo-Kazooie and let them work on something like that, that would be fantastic.
100%.
So let that studio, give them your more PG stuff, but these guys have the ability to create deep content to make gameplay that matters and still challenges you, even though it's not all gritty.
No.
So I think they You just give them something to do like that, or just let them work on a new Spyro. Let them work on a new Crash. I would
Don't let
prefer
them
a
work
new
on Call of
Spyro.
Duty.
Don't let them be a supplementing studio for Call of Duty. Don't let them just run support. They
Yeah.
can
No.
do their own stuff. They make beautiful games, and let them do their thing.
Yeah, they can even, like, with all these acquisitions, like, we can even have them making this kind of game, but from a different franchise.
Yeah.
So something existing maybe in the Warcraft universe, or
Maybe they can work on a
um,
FIFA Pinata game. You know,
Yeah.
I know it's another rare franchise, but they can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
They can hand out other IPs to other studios that might be fun. Like, for example, wouldn't it be fun to see what the devs that are currently apparently working on StarCraft 3, what they would do with something like Age of Empires?
Yeah.
How would that work? Or giving the Warcraft RTS game over to like the Age of Empires guys, just the other way around.
Yeah.
You're gonna have very interesting takes on existing IPs,
Yes.
and you can utilize the strength of their different studios, and you can maximize that. You can use that potential, and they can learn from each other. They might actually, be able to collaborate with one another and work together. If you're gonna consolidate into one big company, spread your resources, spread your knowledge.
Yeah.
Make it the best you can. It can be.
Yeah.
Because that's the only upside to consolidation, is that you have the resources and you have the know-how that can elevate your games to the next level.
So you can even like give like the developers of these Spyro games like a completely different, more serious franchise. Basically, what happened with Naughty Dog when they made the Crash games, right? Yeah.
They made the
games,
original Crash.
Yeah, and they made the Uncharted series, and then they made The Last of Us. So it's like
they first made Jack and Dexter.
Yeah, that's right. Jack and Dexter.
Yeah.
But then like they switched up their they used their talents, but they proven that they could do entirely different gang games. So these guys are really good at the colorful Spyro type things and remastering classics. But they could be very good at making very serious stuff as well.
Yeah.
And maybe do something crazy like a
new prototype game.
A new prototype or a new or a completely different genre, So
I mean,
that's and that's the fun. That's the good thing about these acquisitions. Like they can all work together without restrictions. Like they just have to plan it out, of course.
Yeah,
because it's always going to be a risk reward thing where there's going to be a lot of time put in these projects.
Yeah, because you don't want all the studios you have working on Call of Duty.
No.
Like I think I said that last time as well. Don't just focus on the current Call of Duties that are out now. Expand on that a bit, and then wait with a new Call of Duty for a while.
Yeah, or bring some of the Call of Duty know-how over to 343. Let them help out with with Halo.
Treyarch, Let Treyarch help with Halo. I talked with you about that last week. So that'd be smart, in my opinion, because Halo needs the help. 343 can definitely tell a story, but because of the mismanagement and there's some project stuff that I didn't like. They fumbled on Halo Infinite. Treyarch has a lot more experience, I think, on that front. So have them support 343 or build the engine and expand on that. So I think that would be the smartest move to do.
Yeah. I mean, we already had it helping with it's very simple, but they helped with the motion blur in Starfield, for example.
Yeah.
Because they were so experienced with their Doom games, and for console now they added that for Eternal, I think. Yeah. And it just made like lower frame rates look way better on a console.
Yeah.
So they're now using that, of course, because Starfield is 30 frames on console, and it's gonna make it look a lot more smooth
Yeah.
So that's just it helping them. It's very funny because it was a question I think they asked Todd if like other teams helped them, and everybody think, oh well, it probably helped them with the combat, but that was not the case. It was the motion blur.
Yeah.
But it does show that yes, they can have meetings. They can just do that stuff, which is really cool,
Mm-hmm.
and just make better games overall.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting time for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What else do they have? I know there's a lot of talk about Caesar. I think there was an
All right.
update for Caesar 3, which was really good, or Caesar 4. But those kind of games could also work really well on Game Pass. So yeah, that will be cool as well if we got a brand new Caesar, for example.
Yeah. There was a few strategy things in there as well on the list, I think.
Yeah, Empire Earth, Caesar, they those are the things they have.
Yeah.
And those are good strategy games. In the vein of the Anno games from Ubisoft. So yeah, and a SteamWorld build coming, which is a radically different direction for the studio that's making the SteamWorld games.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like that demo. I talked about it quite a bit, I think, and so they have so much more new types of games they can add now to either their for sale on Steam or through Game Pass. Focus on that
I'll be right
as
there.
well, and not just on Call of Duty. I keep saying Call of Duty, but because it's it's the biggest game right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I heard someone talk about strategy games that there is actually a push to bring those back.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because I've kind of felt because we had this big transformation from RTS to the
third person. Yeah.
And the League of Legends type of games.
Oh yeah.
And the auto battlers. That's all. There's all these like evolutions going on.
Mm-hmm.
That just the genres have evolved, but the classic RTS is kind of like a little bit in the background. I don't know how well the new Age of Empires is doing right now.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Age of Empires did really well. Yeah.
Because it would be cool to see, of course, some of those classic RTSs come back.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have the Command and Conquer remake, which is really good.
Oh yeah, the remasters. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of, you can actually switch between the old school style and the new school and the newer style.
Yeah.
So we talked about that earlier in the stream. Yeah, I think there is a market for those games still because there's like this one studio that was created by old StarCraft and Warcraft people that are working on that new RTS, which is very similar in style to Command and Conquer. So it looks really good. I keep forgetting the name. I do have it. It's Storm something, and yeah, that's something I would love to see more of as well.
Wait, it's already out? That new RTS?
No. I have it on my wish list.
Oh.
It might be a beta. I don't know how far they are because I will wait until it's finished. But yeah, Benjiro, I think you want to talk about the next game.
No, not specifically. You guys were talking.
Just popping in the Pitfall footage in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, because I'm done talking about that.
I'm not. I have no inclination with Pitfall. I didn't put it in. So if anybody wants, I just wanted to get rid of the prototype.
Yeah. I get it. But yeah, Pitfall is another good game they could maybe bring back.
Yeah, I mean, more platformers, which is always welcome, of course. And this is a classic title, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe modifying it, make it a cool story. You can do a lot of stuff with it. Make
especially
it
the especially with the animation these days.
Yeah,
it looks so much better. Yeah.
So
yeah, so that's Pitfall. That's also very, very good IP. And I'm also seeing a lot of people, and I know you kind of want to talk more about it. I think Benjiro is a Guitar Hero.
Yeah, so Guitar Hero is well, we used to have these horrible plastic peripherals that are getting kind of
Mhm.
expensive nowadays, by the
Oh
way.
yeah. hmm
But it was a really fun music game.
hmm
Really easy to get into and really hard if you would get to the higher difficulties. So
Yeah.
basically, this was a fad for a few good years, and
Oh,
after that,
definitely.
nobody bought it anymore, and
hmm
basically, it was done.
I mean,
Yeah.
they
But
oversaturated the market.
they definitely we had Rock Band, then or we had Guitar Hero, then Rock Band joined in. Eventually, we got DJ Hero. I know that
hmm
Vash is a fan of that one.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, we haven't had a good Guitar Hero game in years. And
hmm
I think we're due for a new one, and they might
Yep.
actually get it back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it would
Hopefully
be
with brand new
interesting to
peripherals.
see it. It's going to be interesting. The peripheral thing is kind of scary because we know that
hmm
eventually it's just going to be plastic. That stuff that's
Yeah.
rotting away in somebody's basement or attic because
That is true.
I actually still have two guitars over here. I can literally grab them. Uh,
hmm
but yeah, I would consider Guitar Hero an interesting franchise to bring back
Yep.
at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that there are some clones nowadays that you can just wail on buttons, but it's not the same without the
Not
actual
the same.
peripheral.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just not the same.
hmm
I mean, these are also very skill-based games, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
It's also great for streaming as well. For
hmm
example.
there's
Still
still
do.
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a hacked version of Guitar Hero that you can play on PC that basically has a bunch of songs on extremely crazy difficulties, and
hmm
people stream that, and there's like there are leaderboards and stuff.
Yeah.
So there is still a community actively playing on their own
Yeah.
version of this game.
hmm
But yeah, just you get it back into the mainstream.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Make
time.
make the peripherals affordable. You can do a lot with downloadable music. Harmonix did it for a while because they supported Rock Band for quite a while actually. Rock Band 4. I own that one, including the keyboard. And I also have the Beatles Rock Band set. That was very, I love those games as well. Not just playing the guitar, but also the drum kit and
Although
singing,
we have
of
to
course.
mention that Rock Band is EA instead of
Yeah, that's
Activision.
EA. Yeah. So, but they did something with the band stuff for in the guitar, well, for Activision themselves. I'm not sure if it's what it was called Guitar Hero still, but
I think it
yeah,
was World Tour or something like that. I don't know.
yeah, it
It
could
was
be.
like one of those later
Yeah.
installments.
I mean, there were also games on the Nintendo DS, for instance.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
I remember reviewing one of those on the Nintendo DS. So yeah, so Guitar Hero is definitely a franchise. A lot of people want to see return, from my understanding. So that's one of the
it
first
would be
games I
cool.
actually mentioned. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there something else? Well, everybody knows about Tony Hawk. Of course,
Yeah.
it's not my type of game though. True
Mhm.
Crime. Are we gonna get True Crime? Isn't it?
No, the studio is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It turned
Um,
into
Sleeping Dogs.
Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what
and then
the
Square
latest
Enix
one
shut down
was.
that studio. Yeah.
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 But apparently
It's a shame.
there's still True Crime as a franchise. So
True. Yeah.
maybe it can return, right? And
It could be.
with
Yeah, it could.
the quality of Sleeping Dogs. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed Sleeping Dogs, to be honest. So
I tried it a few times. I never got into it. I don't know why.
I think I do own it. I'm not sure actually.
mhm.
Oh yes, I
Some
do the definitive
Yeah.
edition. Yeah, I do
I
have
Yeah,
it.
me
also
too.
own I
Yeah.
also own True Crime on PlayStation, both games. True Crimes, Stories of LA or something, and True Crime, New York.
Yeah.
And then Sleeping Dogs was in Hong Kong. So they're fun games. I
Yeah.
mean, they're
Definitely.
GTA clones,
Yeah.
but um, it was fun. Sleeping Dogs did a lot with the close combat that I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, Sleeping Dogs was definitely based on stuff like from Chinese martial arts movies, from Jet Li and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
including pushing people's heads into air conditioners and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of funny, kind of brutal, but it worked, and they were fun games.
Yeah, there was Two Crime New York as well, which
Yeah.
was totally flipped in that regard.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like a different
main
theme.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically kind of like a mirror franchise to GTA, but I think it's more action oriented, right?
Oh yeah, a lot more.
A lot more like shooting and fighting.
Mhm.
Which it would be great to have something else to look forward to in this genre than GTA, which takes so long to make.
Oh yeah.
So it would be nice to have something similar, but also good, and not like the recent Saints Row, which totally fell flat on its face. So it would
Yeah,
be cool
unfortunately,
to see.
because I really love the Saints Row games.
Yeah,
I do kind of want to play this new one, but we'll see.
Yeah,
It's going to be cheap anyway. It's already cheap, so
yeah. You can still do some fun things with these kind of games. So like a lot of in jokes and humor and stuff. So
yeah.
I don't know. That's another one that they could just reawaken. There's many in between stuff in here as well. Like there's this Time Shift, which was kind of a cool concept.
Singularity,
Singularity, which was like a Half-Life type of game. Both had to do with time rewinding and time stopping. So let's see what's more on the list.
I mean, like I said, the point-and-click adventures. I saw people say that they want a new Phantasmagoria,
which is
also
actually coming. There's a new Phantasmagoria.
Oh,
no, sorry, no. I'm sorry. No, I got confused.
Oh.
The Seventh Guest is coming back.
Oh, the Seventh Guest.
Yeah. I got confused with that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a remaster, and it's also getting a VR version.
Yeah. So Phantasmagoria is I always get those confused.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a fun, especially when you're a kid, and horror movies don't do much for you. It was a fun game for me at the time. Yeah.
I just wonder if point-and-click adventures would work in this day and age with audiences now.
Yeah, there's still an audience for them.
Yeah,
like there's Deponia from Daedalic Entertainment, which is
of course.
And
there was the new Monkey Island.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think there's still a market for those, but we'll see. Yeah, again, it's definitely a wait and see in this case.
Yeah.
With the point-and-click adventures, I think Pentiment was also sort of point-and-click adventure-y, but not entirely, of course. But
kind of. Yeah. Very story-focused games.
Yeah, make those kinds of games, like the smaller types of games, like I said earlier, Blackthorn, and then point-and-click adventures don't need to be that big.
No, true.
So make them all the size of the latest Monkey Island, for instance. And then the new Phantasmagoria could do very well.
Yeah. There's games like Gun that's shown out right now. Have another Western game aside from Red Dead.
Yeah.
It would be crazy if they revived this. I remember this. This was one of the launch games, I think, for 360.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you had Red Dead Revolver and a Gun around the same time, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And Red Dead Revolver, it turned into Red Dead Redemption, which was more open world and GTA-like. But both were arcade shooters.
Yeah.
At the time, Red Dead Revolver and Gun. Yeah. And I thought Gun was better than Red Dead Revolver. So.
Yeah, I think I have Red Dead Revolver for Xbox, but it's it's really weird going back to that after Red Dead Redemption stuff.
But it could work. Look at Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh yeah.
These types of games definitely have a market still.
Yeah, you could do really interesting things. We don't have a lot of Western games, I think, so it would be good.
No.
Good. It's a good hole in the market.
Yeah, I picked up Freddy Farkas, Frontier Pharmacist, from GOG a while back when it was on sale.
Okay.
It's a game I always wanted to play. It's a Western point-and-click adventure.
Okay.
From the creator of Larry.
Oh, from Larry. Okay.
They might own that now as well, because I think that's also still an Activision game, because it was a Sierra game.
Mm.
So yeah, they can do all sorts of things with that as well.
Yeah. Then there's Soldier of Fortune in there, which I remember vividly because
I
it was
love
one of
that
those
game.
games you wouldn't play around your parents.
No.
It's very brutal.
It's very brutal because it was one of the first FPS games where you could actually shoot off limbs, and it was very gory. So
Yeah.
But it was also, I remember being really hyped for it because it was one of those new cool FPS games, that showed off.
Yeah.
And it had a sequel, but I don't think the
stuff.
sequel was as popular.
No.
The second game was okay. Then there was another sequel which did really bad, which was really bad as well.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember like the cool gun animations when you pulled your gun out of your hand. You could like flip it and stuff.
Yeah.
It was almost like sort of a first person Max Payne without the bullet time.
Right.
It was very corny. It was very action movie style. But yeah, I don't know if they want to. They could do something like this. Maybe combine it with John Wick or something. I don't know.
And the funny part is, Outer Worlds also has limbs being removed. It's not a selling feature anymore. But this game was though. This game was definitely one of the big selling features was that you could shoot off someone's arm with a shotgun.
Yeah.
In the
You did have before. You did have Chasm, the FPS game, very old one.
Yeah.
Which you also could shoot limbs off, but I think this was more of because it was in a realistic setting and not weird monsters.
Yeah.
That it was this is kind of like.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah. The other game. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one was more like this one did really have that shock value when it came out. Of course, that sold a lot copies because of it. Yeah, I remember playing the demo a lot of this one as well, and there was this very cool train level. I remember. I always liked train levels.
I enjoyed this game. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Speaking of removing people's or monsters' limbs, I think Die by the Sword is also still an Activision game.
Oh, that's an oldie.
Yeah. Also, it was from Treyarch.
That was one of the games where you could control your sword with your mouse or like separately.
Yeah.
Like that was its thing.
Yep. It was published by Interplay and Imagineer.
Yeah. Developer is Treyarch, by the way, which they also now own. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's an Activision game now. I'm not sure. It could be someone else that owns the license. Because publisher says Tantrum Entertainment, but that got bought up by Interplay.
Yeah, I know that Interplay has been sort of revived.
Yeah, but
just like Apogee, but it's not really being really active right now.
No, but because there's other games that Interplay published that are either still owned by Blizzard. I mean, it might be that they own all the Interplay stuff. I'm not sure what Activision did. It's been a while since I heard the story, but I'm not sure if Activision still owns this game.
Okay.
So, but Die by the Sword is
question mark.
Interesting. Yeah. But we might hear when the deal's closed, we might get a press conference or a press release, hopefully stating with all the games they own now.
Yeah.
Franchises they own.
Yeah, because then now we only have like the dormant like lists that people have come up with, and there's like no official confirmation yet.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
I think they own way more than what's currently out there on the internet.
Yeah,
that we just don't know of.
Yeah, because there's even this list says IPs that could potentially be owned.
Yeah.
Like there's just a bunch of stuff that we just went over that was just very popular or well known.
Yeah, and we do know the studios that they will own, which have some very good, like we always said, Toys for Bob. And what else?
High Moon Studios, King, Raven Software. That's another big one. They did quite some stuff.
Yeah.
They also helped with Soldier Fortune, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Quake 4, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So that's a big one as well. Sledgehammer, of course, who worked on Call of Duty stuff a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and
Okay.
Beanox. Yeah. So yeah.
We're gonna wrap up this segment. I would like you guys to just from the top of your head, if you were on the head of Microsoft, if you were in Phil's shoes, and you could just green light one game this merger could accomplish, what game would that be?
Ooh. I think Blur is the first thing that came to my mind. That's also the first one I wrote down here. But I don't know. Let's see, what was the list again? Yeah, I think Blur is just. I just miss those kind of games a lot.
I get that.
And I think just bringing it back is fun, but also thinking of the possibilities, how you can expand upon it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think out of the list that we've gone to, I think for me personally, I think Blur is Blur and Interstate 76. I think like fun vehicle based games. I also miss things like Twisted Metal. So I would really like to see more fun car games. So either Blur or Interstate 76 style-ish things.
Good choice. And about you, Vash, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good question. There's several games that I want to see return. So out of that list, most of the games that we talked about, I definitely gravitate more still towards Blackthorn. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And you, Benji?
They need more smaller games.
For me, it would be a new Spyro. I would love a new Spyro.
Mm-hmm.
I need games on my Xbox that I can play when the kids are around.
Yeah, exactly.
That I can get excited about, but also that I can share that excitement with them. So Spyro would be the one for me. I would love Toys for Bob to make a new addition to that instead of just a remaster. So that would be it for me. There is one tweet I want to share with you guys.
Yep.
Oh,
so
we are very well aware of that one tweet.
Not sure you are.
Tweets? I think
maybe
I am.
not.
Because this is a stinging response from Microsoft to the FTC emergency motion.
Oh,
that one.
Interesting.
That's the other tweet I was thinking of. So,
are you sure? So, but basically, they said that the FTC committed a cardinal sin. So it's pretty scorching. The FTC. So I'm just gonna read out the segment from the actual document. The FTC now perversely responds that the pro-consumer benefits of increasing access to Call of Duty is somehow anti-competitive because only one subscription service, Xbox Game Pass, will have Call of Duty post-merger. That's part of the motion. No, but that is one more subscription service than the FTC's own experts predicted would have Call of Duty absent the merger. In characterizing this unambiguously pro-consumer outcome as an anti-competitive, the FTC commits the cardinal sin of antitrust, mistaking a competitive disadvantage for a particular competitor, namely the market-dominant Sony, with harm to competition and consumers. So, that's then they're going into evidence.
Yep.
And
you're right though, because as we talked about last time, the FTC entire defense was based on what it would do for Sony and not for the consumers. So that's a lost cause from the start.
Yeah, they kept repeating those things.
Yeah.
So we're just going over it constantly.
They closed it by saying, characterizing post-merger expansion of Activision content to new platforms and delivery mechanisms as perhaps bad for Sony, but good for Call of Duty gamers and future gamers.
No.
So that's how they closed that statement.
Yeah. So there's one big thing for Microsoft though, and that was like I said, there were. I think I thought that was one of the tweets you were talking about, is that Major Nelson is leaving Microsoft.
I was gonna go next into when we close this up, but Major Nelson today. made known that he will be leaving Microsoft after 25 years.
22, right?
22? I thought it
Yeah,
was
I think
25.
it's 22.
I don't have the
Anyway.
tweet up, but yes,
Yeah.
I knew it was.
He did a lot for Microsoft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
He was the big showman on the floor talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
You would always see them around E3 and stuff.
After 20 years.
Yeah.
That's what his tweet says.
Yeah. Larry Ribb.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you. I still can't. The way you pronounce that name, I still don't get it right somehow. So after
Ribb.
22 years,
Rip.
Yeah. Larry Ribb. Yeah.
Very unusual name.
Let it rip. Larry Rip.
Yep.
Larry Ribb. Yeah.
And he's moving on with his career, and which is, it's very storied career already. Really looking forward to what he's going to do in the future.
Yeah. So a lot of heartfelt goodbyes in the comments. People are gonna miss him, and they wish him the best.
Yeah.
And he's been basically showboating Microsoft for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Showing the product. He was basically Mr. Xbox, and that is done, which is kind of like a weird sour sweet moment, because he was beloved by the community, but now that the community is expanding and Xbox itself is expanding, he bows out. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, he's leaving Microsoft, but he might go to Activision.
I don't know. I think he's just taking a break.
If he would go to Activision, he would stay within Microsoft, because it's going to be part of Microsoft, and he's leaving his position now.
I mean, Todd Howard still is also not really part of Microsoft, because they're very much hands off. So it might be that.
I might be wrong, but I actually heard that Todd Howard is a contractor.
Oh,
he works there. You're just like
that could be it.
What's his name? The guy that created Sakurai. Sakurai also doesn't work for Nintendo. Sakurai is a contractor for Nintendo.
Yeah,
and what I understood is that Todd Howard has the same kind of construction. Like, he basically is a one-man company, and he's contracting himself out to Bethesda, and he's been there for years.
Right.
But he's not an actual employee. I might be wrong, but I think I picked that up somewhere.
I mean, I can see that. Yeah,
I know that for Sakurai is 100% fact, but I'm not sure about Todd, but it's something I heard.
All right.
Well. So I think that's going to be it for this week. Hopefully next week we'll have a little bit more news to share on the entire merger. That would be nice.
We're next Monday, so we'll see.
Yeah, and next week will be the final episode of Pixels and Sprites. At least, and maybe not the nonsense. We'll still, have nonsense, but Pixels and Sprites will be done. At least it will be the end of season 1. We're going to evaluate how everything went. We might have to change some structural things, but we are probably coming back for season 2. Fairly likely.
Very likely.
So we'll be back next week with another episode.
Yeah.
So Metzman, you have one more week of vacation.
Yes.
You're probably going to be streaming some more games. So where can people find you, and where can they check you out?
They can find me on I can switch to the thing. They can find me on Twitter at TheMetzman, and that's where you can find all my stuff. I communicate through there, and of course, if I go live on Twitch, you can also get the announcements there. I think I have link of Twitch. Link to my Twitch is also now in my bio. I added that a little bit, so it is always there. And the link tree to all my other stuff is there as well. So everything is basically on Twitter. So you can find me there, and I'll be continuing the games that I've been talking about today that I've played. And I'm probably, I don't know, maybe for the last week of vacation, throw in some other games as well, whatever I feel like. I've been like putting Mario a little bit on the back burner. I think also because I played through 2 full Mario Galaxy games, and maybe I got a little bit tired of Mario, so I switched to Zelda and some Bethesda stuff for now. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens and how fast that last week will go.
Okay, thank you. So, Vash, what are you going to do for the next week, and where can people find you?
Well, I'm gonna sleep for a couple of days, I think. I am very tired right now because of mentally. But no, I'm definitely gonna finish Outer Worlds, and I'm definitely. I also want to continue with Ghost Trick, of course, and I have some other games that I want to finish. I'm very far into Gotham Knights, for instance. I have an issue with finishing games. Always had that. When I get closer to the end, I sort of drop off in most games.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. But I also kind of want to try out Exoprimal. I am interested. I'm not a big PvE PvP fan, or PvE VP. That was it.
PvEVP. Yeah.
Yeah, PvE VP. And but I am interested in this game because it looks wild. And I don't know. I might try out some smaller games at some point.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, and people can find me still on Twitter. I don't have access to Blue Sky or Threads yet, but yeah, on Twitter it's still at PVBAIKUN. PVBaiken. Yes.
Thank you. What I understand about Threads, by the way, is that everybody made an account, but nobody's using it. So that's kind of
yeah.
interesting.
I have multiple backup accounts, quote, for when things go to shit. But yeah, Twitter is still going to be my main platform, unless it really dies up here.
Yeah.
Unless Elon really screws up.
I mean, he is still screwing up, though.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the thing about the right-wing dudes getting all sorts of money from him?
Yeah, I saw something Tim Pool related.
Yeah.
Pop up. So yeah,
that dude. Seriously.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, because Twitter is a great platform to communicate with like-minded people and developers. It's so sad that it's now been run by this clown. So
yeah, I follow a lot of writers for TV shows and movies and that sort of stuff. Of course, they're on strike now, so I see a lot of that stuff coming. But also comic book artists and writers. But slowly they're all moving away. So yeah, I still need to find out where and if I can still follow them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that's it for
where
this
can
week.
I find you, and what are you gonna do, by the way, Benjiro?
Oh, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Tell us.
I might not. I'm hopefully going to finish at least the story of Diablo 4. I would really like to do that before the seasonal hits. I'm going to try a seasonal character. I'm enjoying the game enough. Like, I hated on it a few weeks ago, but I'm enjoying it. So I'm probably gonna do that. I'm gonna play some more Halo. And I'm probably gonna start juicing up the Steam Deck with all the games I want to take along, make a short list, and make sure everything is installed. I have a lot of work next week, so I might not have a lot of time for games. We're probably gonna try some Exoprimal. We're gonna give that a shot.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Matt, you should join us.
He doesn't have
our fire team.
I'm not sure. I always like a lot of those types of games don't really gel with me. Usually I get bored after like 15 minutes.
Right.
So I don't know.
Okay.
But I'd love to hear what your opinions are. Maybe I'll change my mind later.
We also still need to play some Battlefield, though. We did discuss that.
Battlefield?
That is true. Battlefield 2042. Because like we talked about last week, that it might be better.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
I've also been keeping my eye on Battlebit Remastered.
Right.
But
But people can find me at Pixels Sprites on Twitter, or you can find me on Pixels and Sprites on Twitch. Currently, I'm not really streaming except for the podcast. That might change, but by fall. Right now, it's just too hot in this room to actually play a game, so I'm not really doing that. I'm already sweating just doing a podcast. All I'm doing is just talking and clicking on some videos. So that's about it.
Yep.
So that's it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll be back next week for our final episode. But I might have a fun game that we're gonna play on the final episode. It's gonna be like a talking kind of thing, not an actual video game. So I'm gonna see if I can get that done. If we don't have enough content to talk about, if we have enough to talk about, we might have to abandon that idea. But we'll see. We'll be back next week, next Friday. It will be 8:30 p.m. CEST. And
if things go well.
If things go well, like we might, if we're on time, that's basically it. So thanks everybody for watching, and see you next week. Bye bye.
See you next week.
All right. Bye.